time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the New York Mets. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday night to you, wherever you may be. For the third time during the homestand, the Dodgers will face another Cy Young Award winner. This would be left-hander Johan Santana. The Dodgers will challenge him with Vicente Padilla. The Dodgers 5 games back of San Diego, and the Mets are 7.5 back of Atlanta, having a very dismal road trip. They are 1-7 on this long road trip, and they have lost 4 straight and 7 of the last 8. So the Dodgers hoping to beat Santana, or at least avoid a loss at his hands, and beat somebody else coming out of the Mets bullpen, hopefully to pick up some ground on San Diego. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
Back, everybody. It's East versus West. The Mets sit down, taking on the Dodgers. Game 2 of 4 here on Prime Ticket. Let's get to our Lexus pursuing perfection. And the pitching, Steve Lyons, has been pretty perfect the past couple of games.
Yeah, it was almost perfection. There's Chad Billingsley right at a time when this Dodger pitching staff needed a big lift. He gave it to him. The only complete game of any starting pitcher on the Dodgers this year. Complete game shutout. It was sweet. Hiroki Corona takes them out the next night, does nearly as well. Needed a little help from Hong-Chi Kuo. They got it done. They threw another shutout. Back-to-back 2-0 games for the Dodgers right after a 6-game losing streak was exactly what the doctor ordered. Those guys came up huge.
Yeah, they certainly needed it, but 2-0 shutouts. What about the offense? And because of that, Joe Torre's kind of mixed up the lineup a bit.
Yeah, he shifted guys around a little bit. Andre Ether is going to hit second in the lineup. He's 1 for his last 15. Joe loves to put guys in the number 2 hole if they've been scuffling a little bit, and he gets some more fastballs to hit. And if you're facing Johan Santana, you're hoping to get a fastball to hit because you don't want to see that changeup. You don't want to see the devastating breaking ball because he can put you away quick.
Well, the Dodgers would like to continue what they've got going. They've won 2 in a row. As you see, Vicente Padilla getting ready, going against Johan Santana. We have the game coming up. Vince Scully has the call, and we'll see you afterwards.
Visit your Southern California Hyundai dealers today. By Shakey's. What's the distance from home plate to the pitcher's mound? Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. By AT&T. TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit att.com or call 1-800-PIC-ATT for details. And by 76 Gasoline. We're on the driver's side. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. It's the Dodgers and the Mets at Dodger Stadium, so pull up a chair for Game 2 of the 4-game series. They'll go after again tomorrow afternoon and conclude the proceedings on Sunday afternoon. Tonight, the Dodgers try to keep it going after winning 2 in a row by the score of 2-0. You might wonder the last time that happened had to be a while ago, and you're right. The last time the Dodgers won 2 straight by the score of 2-0 was back in 1963. Perhaps a harbinger of good things to come. 1963 was a World Championship year for the Dodgers and the most winningest World Series they ever had by sweeping the Yankees in 4 straight. Tonight they're saluting the 1955 World Champion Brooklyn Dodgers, and we can start off by slowing the Express down a bit. The final score, Padres 5, Pirates 3. Kevin Correa winning his 7th. Heath Bell saved it. Padres got out in front 4-0 and held on to beat the Bucks. So the Dodgers now trying to keep it going against the Mets. Here's the New York lineup, and they are really struggling offensively. They've gone 17 scoreless innings. They've lost 4 straight, 7 out of 8. On this road trip, they have won 1 game while losing 7. They'll have Jose Reyes at short, Luis Castillo at second, Angel Pagan in right field, David Wright at third, Carlos Beltran in center, Ike Davis at first base, Jason Bay in left field, Henry Blanco, who at one time was with the Dodgers behind the plate, and twice a Cy Young Award winner, Johan Santana. On the mound for the Dodgers, Vicente Padilla. And for the 32-year-old, this would be his 11th start. Last time out, he allowed 1 hit, 6 scoreless innings in St. Louis. Against the Mets, he has a record of 10-3, but of course he hasn't faced them in 5 years when he was with Philadelphia. He has more wins against the Mets than against any other major league team. So the opening day pitcher for the Dodgers, Vicente Padilla, about ready to go to work. And it'll be the switch hitting Jose Reyes checking in at the plate. For Reyes, as a left-handed batter, hitting .269, right-handed .297, a little more power left. 4 of his 6 home runs hit left-handed. Promptly whacks one down the right field line into the corner, and that one's going to rattle around into the stands, and Jose Reyes opens up with a double. So for Reyes, who had 16 leadoff home runs for the Mets, came close that time as he one-hopped it into the chairs. Here's the Dodgers defensively. Carroll, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. Blake, Furcal, DeWitt, and Loney on the infield. And the battery of Padilla and Martin. Another lovely evening. Temperature 69 degrees as we get this thing started. And with a runner at second and nobody out, Luis Castillo checking in, batting only .238. The Castillo, left-hand batter, actually switches, bunts up along third. Tough play for Blake, and the throw not nearly in time. So a double by Reyes and a bunt single by Castillo, and Luis drops it down nicely. The Mets, among other things, have a very good ball club. They are second in the league in bunt hits, and they are very high in infield hits. Jerry Manuel starts it off with runners at first and third, nobody out, and Angel Pagan the batter. So Padilla in trouble right away. First and third, nobody out. Pagan, a switch hitter. So the first 3 hitters switch, and then the 5th is a switch hitter, Carlos Beltran. So Pagan trying to make something happen now, and the pitch to him is swung on and fouled away off third, upstairs out of play. Pagan is hitting .307. He has 8 home runs, 44 runs batted in. Early in the count, he has not done that much. However, he is very, very hot in the middle of the game. That's the way his pattern has been so far this year. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Padilla deals and misses outside. 1-1. With runners in scoring position coming into this series, Pagan was hitting .391. So he has Reyes at third. He has Castillo at first. Nobody out. And the Mets trying to get the drop on the Dodgers right here at the outset. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Padilla deals, and that's fouled away. 1-2 the count. The Mets have trying to break a string of 17 consecutive scoreless innings. So the well has really run dry. They're 7.5 games back of Atlanta. They have a 4-game losing streak. They've lost 7 out of 8. And here at Dodger Stadium since 2007, they are 4-10. And David Wright on deck would also like to do something to get them started in the right direction. Padilla pawing at the dirt in front of the rubber, the little trench. You want to get your foot in there so you can push off the rubber. And Vicente appears to have it the way you want. So the right hander set at the belt, and the 1-2 pitch to Angel Pagan on the inside corner. Strike 3 call, and Pagan grumbles very briefly, turns and walks away. So a fastball got the inside corner, and that was that for Pagan. 1 away. Runners at first and third. And David Wright will check in as a frustrated Pagan goes back to the dugout, containing himself. No real sign of temper. David Wright, always very dangerous, especially early in the count. Hitting .304, 15 home runs, 67 runs batted in. He is number 1 in the league in scoring a runner from third with less than 2 out. and he takes a fastball high, ball one. So Wright is up there now where he could do a little damage. He's also third in the National League hitting home runs on the road. David has 15 home runs, and 11 of them hit on the road. Of course, City Park in New York, a spacious ballpark. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Padilla at the belt, very deliberate, now to the plate, and works it high again, ball two. Of course, all you have to do to understand the Mets and their ballpark is to look at their record. They are 30-16 at home, where the opposition has only hit 26 home runs. They are 19-31 on the road, where the opposition has hit 57 home runs. So David Wright waiting, and the 2-0 pitch on the way. Padilla set at the belt, very deliberate. Now works a fastball on the outside corner for a strike, and the count 2-1. For Padilla, coming into the game, he has walked 15 while striking out 55. David Wright, waiting at the plate, has struck out 106 times. Here's the 2-1 pitch, the right hand hitting third baseman. Padilla delivers, and it is swung on, fouled away late. Good fastball up around 96, and Wright just did get a piece of it going by. So 2-2 the count. Vicente now wants another ball to work with, and the plate umpire, C.B. Buckner, will oblige. C.B. has been around. This is his 12th year in the big leagues. He was born in Jamaica in the West Indies. Moved to the United States in 1973. 2-2 the count to David Wright. Padilla again ready, keeping an eye on Castillo especially. And now the 2-2 pitch after a long wait. It comes with a slow curveball, but he misses with it. Ball three. That's not the soap bubble. The slow curveball that he just served up was 76 miles an hour. When he throws the soap bubble, it's in the 60s. So 3-2 the count. If you're Jerry Manuel, do you run Castillo with a hitter who strikes out a lot? That's the question. Castillo has stolen 7 out of 8. Wright has grounded into 8 double plays. So we'll see. Castillo poised at first. There he goes. And the pitch missed at the plate. The throw down is in time. No, it's safe, and the run will score. It looked like the throw was there in plenty of time. And Castillo did not slide. He went right around Blake DeWitt. So it is a disappointed and frustrated Russell Martin and a somewhat shocked Blake DeWitt. The throw was there. DeWitt turned, tried to make the tag, and now we can see on the tape. Couldn't see it at the time. He dropped the ball. Okay. So DeWitt had kind of an ice cream cone in his glove. And then as Dana DeWitt made the call, we could not see the ball come out of DeWitt's glove. All right, it is 1-0 Mets. They have finally broken that 17 consecutive scoreless inning streak. Tough play for DeWitt after a good throw by Russell Martin. So Castillo picks up a stolen base, and the Rays comes in to give the Mets a 1-0 lead. Out of his stretch goes Padilla. Right-hander, another look back at second, comes to the plate inside under the hands to Carlos Beltran. Beltran missed most of the year. He had knee surgery, and he has only played a couple of games. Beltran is in his 8th game, so kind of rusty. In fact, he's had a little bit of trouble defensively in center field, but he's out there tonight. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Beltran fouls it back. He is one of 4 switch hitters in the lineup, plus 2 left-handed batters. And examining Beltran closely, he's hitting .250 left and .250 right. Since he just started, no home runs. And they have certainly missed him. He's an outstanding player in so many different areas. 1-1 the count. Out of a stretch goes Padilla, looks back at second and then backs off the rubber. Carlos Beltran from Puerto Rico, 33 years old, trying to pick up Castillo from second base. 1-0 Mets. We're just starting. The Mets wind up a stolen base on a drop throw and a run scoring. And the 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled away. And the count 1-2. Boy, a beautiful evening here in Los Angeles, and you can look out beyond center field and the trees and the hills to see the mountains in the distance. 69 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. And for the Dodgers, their streak continues. 858 without a rainout. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Padilla, so very deliberate with a man on base, works his hitter low and inside, and the count 2-2 strikes. Mets have not been scoring ahead of the opposition very often, so it's a big night for them to get a run in the first inning, as Castillo out by a mile. Blake DeWitt dropping the throw, having it kick out of his glove. 2-2 pitch on the way. Padilla still looking at Castillo, and the pitch is inside. Ball 3. So that was the pitch that Padilla used to strike out Pagan, and he came almost in the same location, just missed, and a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to run the count 3-2. Padilla off the rubber, standing on the grass. For the Mets, of course, with a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, it's a question as to whether Santana means and needs too many runs. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way. Padilla set, looks back, comes to his hitter, and Beltran swings and misses. Strike 3. So what an inning. Padilla strikes out the side. The Mets get 2 hits and 2 steals, a double steal for the run. And at the end of half an inning, the Mets won and the Dodgers nothing. Say forget about it, and we go to the bottom of the first inning. It will be Rafael Percal, Andre Ethier hitting second tonight, and then Matt Kemp, Casey Blake and James Loney and Russell Martin, Blake DeWitt, Jamie Carroll, and Vicente Padilla. Johan Santana, twice a Cy Young Award winner in 2004 and 2006, and the left-hander's fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. He's an even 6, 205-pounder, 31 years old, from Tovar in Venezuela. The strike 1 pitch is a bunt foul, and the count 0-2 to Rafael. Percal batting .333. He has 7 home runs, 37 runs batted in. The boy from the Dominican battling the famous left-hander from Venezuela. And the strike 2 pitch on the way very high. Ball 1-1-2. By the way, they had first announced double steal, but since the throw was dropped by DeWitt, he had Castillo dead to rights. It will be an error charge to DeWitt and the run unearned. For call, a drive to center, but gracefully Beltran moves over to pick it off. And just like that, one away in the first inning. Johan Santana pitching now to Andre Ethier. Andre hitting .306, 16 home runs, 57 runs batted in. 1-0 in favor of the Mets in the first inning. The Mets are on a road trip where they are 1-7 and have been shut out 3 times on the trip. And Santana has really been victimized. The left-hander deals a strike and the count 0-1. Among other things, Santana has lost 4 games when the Mets have scored 0, 1, or 2. Left-hander turns on the rubber in the strike 1 pitch. Fastball a little high. First thing you notice about Santana is the way he stands on the rubber. He puts his left foot on the third base side of the rubber, his right foot way off to the right, and as he said, he does that stance to make an impression. A breaking ball is hit slowly up along first, picked up in fair ground by Santana, who tags out Ethier. So Ethier grounding out to Santana, who, by the way, has a couple of gold gloves. So he can do it all. And with 2 down, last night's hero, Matt Kemp, coming up. Matt Kemp with a double to drive in Carroll and a home run leading off in the 7th last night to drive in both runs. Matt hitting .264. He now has 17 home runs, 56 runs batted in. Tries to golf a pitch low, doesn't get it, and a no ball 1 strike count. 1-0 Mets in the first inning. The last time the Mets were here last summer, the Dodgers swept them in a 3-game series in May. Matt takes a strike and he's in a hole 0-2. So then the Dodgers went to New York in April and the Mets swept them. And the Dodgers now trying to use the Mets as a ladder to get closer to the Padres. The strike 2 pitch is low, ball 1. 1-2. Mentioning the Padres reminds us to remind you the Padres beat the Pirates today 5-3. Santana is not overwhelming in his walk and strikeout ratio. Padilla is much better. The pitch to Kemp is low. Padilla is better than 3-1. Santana is 2-1. So Vicente down 1-0. The drop throw by DeWitt cost him a run. And the 2-2 pitch coming up, and Kemp shies away, up and in. Ball 3. Santana is from the Green Mountain Valleys of Tovar Merida. That's in northern Venezuela, maybe 11-hour drive from Caracas through the Andes Mountains. Heaves a big sigh. Now he's ready. The 3-2 pitch is a fastball fouled away. As far as Tovar is concerned, they say the tallest building in town is about 3 stories high. The streets are so narrow they're necessarily one way. The direction of the day is determined by the car that gets there first. Johan, the only major leaguer with that first name. Kemp backs out. 3-2 the count with Casey Blake on deck. Now Santana ready, and his 3-2 changeup beaten foul into the dirt. So a 3-2 change, and of course the changeup is one of the great pitches tossed up there by Johan Santana. His teammates used to call it the yo-yo. Johan calls it the butterfly. It seems to flutter and makes batters lunge, somewhat like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. So 3-2 change. Let's see what he does this time. 3-2 fastball, and that's low. Ball 4. So Matt Kemp battles Santana, draws a walk, and the hitter will be Casey Blake. Casey Blake has a home run against Santana. Remember, Casey played over in the American League when Santana was pitching for the Minnesota Twins. He has a home run and a .246 batting average, which is close to what he's hitting against the league, .252. Casey, 10 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Santana looking over at Kemp, now to the plate, and fires a strike. He's had that first pitch for a strike to all the hitters. For Matt Kemp, he has 15 stolen bases while being caught 11 times. It's 1-0 Mets in the first inning. Kemp at first, 2 out. 0-1 the count to Casey, who probably bangs it into left field down the line for a base hit. Jason Bay is up with it. Kemp will go to third on a long single by Casey Blake. So the Dodgers trying to come back with 2 out here in the first inning. So with first and third and 2 out, 1-0 Mets. Jason Bay making a good play to hold Casey Blake to a long single. And James Loney will check in, batting .304, half a dozen home runs, 64 runs batted in. Loney 1 for 6 against Santana. Johan out of a stretch, checks the runners. And the left-hander ready and delivers. Fastball, but he misses for the first time. Ball 1. Santana, by the way, has had 5 straight starts where he has failed to give up a home run. He has allowed 8 home runs all year. The left-hander ready. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Johan delivers. Fastball low again. Ball 2. 2-0 to James Loney. Santana should have a far better record than 7-5. He has had 8 no decisions. Santana straightens up, checks the runners at first and third with 2 out, and the 2-0 pitch to Loney way outside in the dirt. Breaking ball, slider that he almost threw away. 3-0 Loney, and with that runner at third, we'll check, and Santana has 1 wild pitch as Martin waits on deck. So Kemp at third, Blake at first, 2 out, and we'll see what Loney does. 3-0. Santana ready, and here he comes. Fastball in there. I think James had been given the green light. I think he was allowed to swing 3-0. Looked like he was thinking to swing, held up. The pitch was a borderline strike on the outside corner. So 3-1 the count to Loney. Santana again ready, and the left-hander's 3-1 pitch, foul back to the screen. 3-2. Santana and his brother Franklin used to carry their dad's baseball equipment when they were 7 and 8 years old. The boys worked in an uncle's bakery. They earned enough to buy baseball shoes when they got older. And Santana met his wife-to-be when they were both 9 years old. Johan out of a stretch. Another look at the runners, and the 3-2 pitch to Loney. Johan deals, runner goes, and it's fouled away. Still 3-2. Talking about his father and his baseball equipment, Santana's father played amateur ball, but without any real offers became a repairman for the state power company, fixing down lines and raising 5 children. For Santana, this will be his 24th pitch here in the first inning. And the 3-2 pitch with Casey Blake ready to go. He goes, and it is strike 3 call. So Loney frozen at the plate. So the Dodgers missed the opportunity and leave runners at first and third. And at the end of an inning, Mets 1, Dodgers nothing. Davis, Jason Bay, and Henry Blanco. One note for the Mets, an optimistic note indeed. That's that Jose Reyes scored in the first inning. And throughout his career, when Reyes scores, the Mets have been at a .691 winning percentage. So we'll see if that holds up tonight or not. Meanwhile, here's Ike Davis, and he takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike, and the count 0-1. Boy, if ever anybody got an acid taste, it was Ike Davis last night. They let him hit against Hung Chi Kuo. Strike one pitch on the way is taken a little high, 1-1. And as you can imagine, Kuo struck him out. Struck him out while Jason Bay was kneeling on deck. Davis with 13 home runs in his rookie year, 45 runs batted in, takes a bubble and hits it to center. Back for it goes Kemp. Turns, watches it go over the center field wall. Matt thought he had a play until he got to the track and then turned to watch it go out. So Ike Davis just does clear the wall, and for Ike, with that power of his, he now has 14 home runs, 46 runs batted in. The Mets now lead the Dodgers 2-0. For Vicente Padilla, that would be the 11th home run. Earlier in the first pitch, one of those soap bubbles that Davis looked at somewhat in awe, but then when he got a pitch to hit, he was looking for it. Another one of those soap bubbles, and he hit it out. That's the first time, I believe, we've seen anybody hit that soap bubble at all. 1-1 the count. Jay Bruce in Cincinnati hit one of those soap bubble curveballs for a home run, so Ike Davis joins a rather distinguished club as Jason Bay fouls it away, and the count 1-2. So Reyes doubled and eventually scored on a stolen base and a drop throw, and now Davis hits one of those 60-mile-an-hour curveballs for a home run. Padilla into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch down and away, backhanded by Martin, and the count 2-2. The Padres won. They beat the Pirates 5-3, so the Dodgers must win or give up a game again. And the 2-2 pitch fouled away, and the count stays to Jason Bay, 2-2. Jason Bay, he's struggling. They expected a lot more from him than 257 with a half a dozen home runs. Right-hand batter waiting, and Padilla comes to him, and it's swung on line to left in front of Jamie Carroll for a base hit. So that is hit number 4 for the Mets against Padilla. And with Jason Bay at first, nobody out, Henry Blanco will be coming up. Henry Blanco, the broad-shouldered catcher, originally signed by the Dodgers way back in 1989, came up to the Dodgers in 1997, and he is still going strong. 39 years old the end of August. Right-hand batter. Henry waits, and the first pitch to him in for a strike. So they have a Venezuelan battery tonight with Johan Santana and Henry Blanco. Blanco is 5'11", 220, and really put together. He looks like a backstop. The strike one pitch on the way to Henry. Padilla comes to him, fastball grounded to short, going back to get it is for call, and his off-balance throw is in the dirt, and everybody's safe. Furcal knew that in going away from the play, he had no chance to go to first, tried to get it to DeWitt and couldn't do it. So the Mets, following the home run by Davis and a single by Bay, Furcal backhanded through low on a bounce, and from the looks of things, Bay would have been safe anyway, and it'll go as an infield single. So first and second, nobody out. It is 2-0 in favor of the Mets, and Johan Santana will be coming up. First thing you do with a pitcher in this spot, how many sacrifices does he have? And he has 4. But he also has a half a dozen hits, including a home run this year. 1 run batted in. Strikes out a little less than half the time, but you have to believe he's bunting. We'll see. He shows bunt now. And Padilla delivers, and the bunt is foul. 0-1 the count. No balls and 1 strike. The Mets so far this year have done very well in avoiding the double play. They've been very good at advancing their base runners. They're 3rd in the league in sacrifices, so they bring a lot to the ball game. And right now they're leading 2-0. Bay at second, Blanco at first. Santana pulls the bat away, the pitch low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike, and Martin going out to talk to him. Runs have certainly been at a premium for the Mets. 4 runs or less in 13 straight games, putting a lot of pressure on the pitchers. Meanwhile, Jose Reyes, the on-deck hitter who doubled to open up the game, is on deck. 1-1 the count to Johan Santana. A bluff by Padilla, making Bay go back to the bag. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Mets. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. Just starting in the 2nd inning. Corners are still up, looking bunt. Padilla set. Now works it, and Santana bunts foul, trying to push the ball. 1-2 the count to Johan. So they're going to hook up again in a moment. Santana backs out. I think perhaps checking to make sure he tried to bunt a strike. 1-2 the count. Padilla, right foot on the rubber, always extremely deliberate with men on base. The 1-2 pitch coming up. Santana bunts and gets it back to Padilla. He fires to third in time, and the throw to first not in time. So Padilla got the force play, erasing Jason Bay. 1-5. So Santana on the fielder's choice is safe at first. Henry Blanco moves to second, and Jose Reyes coming up. So despite the fact he did not get the bunt down for a sacrifice, as usual, the Mets avoid hitting into a double play. And now here's Reyes. Jose doubled in the 1st inning. Padilla checks the runners, comes to his hitter off speed, ground ball. Great stop by Loney for an out. Oh, what a play by James. That was another soap bubble, and Reyes hit it over the bag. If Loney doesn't make the play, a couple of runs probably would score. So Loney diving and backhanding the ball, and then got up out of the dirt and went to the bag. Big play. So big, the score is still only 2-0 instead of perhaps 4-0. And the batter is Luis Castillo. One thing about Castillo, he's not hitting much, 243, but he makes contact most of the time. Padilla ready and deals, and is a line drive down the left field line, foul. So Castillo will have to come back and try it again. They had a rather interesting note about Castillo, his ability to put the bat on the ball, and never more summed up than last year. He had 785 pitches. He swung and missed at only 55. That's a 7% rate. He also puts tremendous pressure on the infield because of his ability to get infield singles. The strike 1 pitch on the way is grounded foul outside of third. 0-2. Castillo opened up the 1st inning going to his strength when he had the bunt single. Down the line from third, Henry Blanco. Johan Santana at second. and Castillo waiting. Padilla set, ready, deals, low and inside. 1-2 the count. Waiting on deck, Angel Pagan. So Padilla gave up the rare home run on that soap bubble curveball of his that comes up there in the middle 60s. Ike Davis hit it out. Maybe the problem was he threw back-to-back. 1-2 the count to Castillo. Padilla again ready. It's 2-0 Mets, second inning. Vicente delivers, ground ball to the hole. Back to get it is for Call. Got him on a bang play. Boy, I'll tell you one thing, for Call is probably the only shortstop to be able to make that play, and Jerry Manuel is going to go out and argue, but it will be a losing cause. He is furious at Doug Eddings, the first base umpire. Bang play, and let's see. The foot, well, you call it. And Jerry Manuel has been kicked out of the game. He was so sure that Castillo had beaten the throw. And Jerry, who lives in Sacramento, he was born in a little town in Georgia that produced J.D. Drew and Stephen Drew and Jerry Manuel. But Jerry has been given the boot on a very, look at the foot, look at the ball. I mean, you want to talk about a tough call for an umpire. And Manuel gesturing, and Doug took it so long, and then adios. The end of an inning and a half. We come back as Russell Martin. It's a pop fly to Leo Castillo. We used some time to watch Jerry Manuel appeal and to show you how close that play was at first base. So now the managerial role is in the hands of Dave Joust, and it looks, of course, with all the high pressure technique that we have, that the runner was definitely safe. But what it really does is magnify the job that the umpires do with the naked eye. They only have a fraction of a second to make the call. So Martin, a pop fly, one away in the second inning. Santana leading 2-0, and comes back with a fastball in for a strike, and the count 1-1. So Padilla working hard. He had a 20-pitch inning and 38 so far in the game. Santana's 1-1 fastball is a little low, ball 2. Blake DeWitt hitting .275 with a home run and 30 runs batted in. Normally, Ronnie Belliard plays against left-handers, but Joe's decided, Belliard slumping, to take a look at DeWitt, and Blake takes a strike. So Belliard sitting alongside of Monasterios and Manny Ramirez. 2-2 the count. Santana back with a fastball fouled away. DeWitt hitting a line drive, hitting the protective railing in front of the Dodger dugout. Mets 2 runs, 5 hits. Dodgers no runs, 1 hit. DeWitt dropping a throw that had the runner dead to rights. That cost the Dodgers a run in the first inning. The 2-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed, and down goes DeWitt. That would be strikeout number 2 from Johan Santana. Of course, Santana, in his heyday, struck out as many as 17 3 years ago against the Texas Rangers. His high this year, he struck out 9 back in April against the Cardinals. So he has 2 out in the second inning, and Jamie Carroll at the plate. And Jamie looks at a strike, and the count 0-1. We told you that the Padres beat Pittsburgh 5-3. We can also tell you the Phillies shut out the Rockies 6-0 behind Roy Halladay, who struck out 9. The next pitch is strike. 0-2 the count. And up to now, at least, Santana shredding the strike zone. 0-2 the count. Johan looks in. Now he's ready. The strike 2 breaking ball foul back. Still 0-2. Santana talking about his youth. He wanted to be a baseball player, and he was 11 years old, and he was going to try out for a youth team league. And he showed up in shorts and a short sleeve shirt. They sent him home. A drive to left field going back is Jason Bay on the track. Crashes into the fence. Holds on to the ball. An unbelievable play by Jason Bay, who is hurt. But he holds up the ball while on all fours. Boy, did he hit that gate full tilt. It was a long time ago, but I've seen one other play like that at Dodger Stadium, and it was in the right field bullpen gate. Jason Bay, complete concentration on the ball, never thought about anything else, eyes riveted, reached up, slammed in as he caught the ball. Interesting, too, to look at the Dodgers in the bullpen. They are sitting there watching him, and that's it. And it brings back the story many years ago of an outfielder named Marty Keough. We'll tell you about that in a little while. But we have seen that play once before. 2-0 Mets. Magnificent catch by Jason Bay. And for those watching on television, after we have a disposition of the current hitter, Angel Pagan, we'll make the point and tell the story. The pitch to Pagan is high, and we have a 1-ball, no strike count. Pagan struck out, called out on strikes. Fastball inside corner got him. The 1-0 pitch on the way is hit in the air to left field. Carroll looks up into that pale blue and makes the catch. For those watching on television, instead of just looking at Bay, look at the Dodgers sitting in the bullpen as Bay goes back and crashes. Not one moves. The reason we bring that up was years ago an outfielder named Marty Keough crashed into the right field bullpen occupied by his own teammates. And Keough split his eyebrow open. It was a magnificent catch like Bay, only he suffered that facial cut. The batter is David Wright, and he takes a strike. Anyway, Keough hit the right field fence and went down. And the next day, interviewing, I said to him, Marty, did it help having your own team in the bullpen? Oh, yes, very much so. I said, really? He said, yeah, the last thing I heard from my pitchers, lots of room. Well, for the Dodgers down in the bullpen, they had nothing to say, and it was a magnificent play by Jason Bay. Meanwhile, David Wright fouls it off, and the count 1-1 strike. The Mets scored a run in the first inning and another in the second. Bay looks no worse for the wear. And the Mets are now in the hands of two former Dodger coaches, Dave Joust and Dan Warthen, the pitching coach. Good breaking ball, freezes David Wright and strikes him out. So Wright strikes out a second time. 4 strikeouts for Vicente Padilla. Padilla should have allowed only 1 run, but then again, if you've been with us since the start of the game, the scales balanced out a little bit. Padilla's slow curveball is lifted to left center and deep. Going back to the track is Carroll to make the catch, and that'll be that. So the Mets retired in order, and at the end of 2.5 innings, Mets 2, Dodgers nothing. Field, the Mets lead 2-0, and the first pitch to Vicente Padilla in for a strike, 0-1. Of course, Jason Bay, a tough Canadian who played a little hockey, and meanwhile Padilla swings, fouls the ball, and chips the bat. Didn't break it, but chipped it. Pieces flew on the grass, slivered down one side of the bat. That's a rare time to see a bat shatter on a foul ball. 0-2 the count, so they'll bring up another block of wood, and Padilla will go back to work. So Padilla's holding most of the bat, and slivers fluttering in the air as he walked back to get another stick. Mets 2, Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the third. Fastball away. 1-2 the count. Johan Santana, who was sent home because he was wearing shorts and a short sleeve shirt when he first went to try out, came back properly attired. But what was really interesting, he came back and wound up playing shortstop. He was a right-handed shortstop with a couple of innings as a catcher. Then, as he said, when I found out I was a lefty, that made things easier as Padilla swings and misses. Now, that's quite a sentence, when I found out I was lefty. He said he really didn't know any better. He was using his dad's glove. And when the coach asked him, what hand do you write with? He didn't even enough to say left or right. He said this one, and he held up his left hand. So another left-hand pitcher was born. So Padilla strikes out, and Rafael Furcal checks in. 3 strikeouts for Santana. Johan ready and deals, slips it in there for a strike. 0-1. Furcal, a long out to center in the first inning. He's been absolutely dazzling for over a month. Fouls a pitch back, and the count 0-2. Rafael had his average up to 339. It's now at 332. With 7 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Mets 2, Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the third. Santana making an impression. Comes back with a pitch, swung on and missed, and that's that dancing changeup of his. And we have 2 out in the third inning. You know, tomorrow at 1:10, Dodgers and Mets, and you'll get more compliments of JetBlue. You'll get more leg room, more soda, and more prizes with free flights and more for lucky fans at the game. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Andre Ethier rolled one up along first. Santana picked it up and tagged him out. And the first pitch, a slicing fly ball down the left field line. Here comes Bay again. Can't get it in foul ground. Bangs into the wall. A little bit of protective padding there, but not a lot of it. You know what Jason Bay really played as a kid? He played hockey until he was 12, but he was very big in curling. You know, where they sweep the broom in front of the whatever it is? I'm a real expert. So 0-1 to count. But Jason said it is a highly intelligent and very strategic game. 0-1 the count to Andre Ethier. Santana's fastball in at the knees, and the count 0-2. Ethier batting .305, 16 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Santana comes back 0-2, and there's a ground ball to the right side. Luis Castillo is on it to throw him out. Very easy inning for Santana, who is now retired 7 in a row and walks off at the end of 3, leading 2-0. really big chicken sandwich combo served with curly fries and a drink for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. And by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. 2-0 in favor of the Mets as we go to the fourth inning. Ike Davis fouling it back. Nancy B. Heffley serenading the New York Mets battery. Johan Santana and Henry Blanco with that great song from Evita, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. The strike one pitch on the way is swung on and fouled away. He could also be saluting Vicente Padilla, who's from Nicaragua. 0-2 the count to Ike Davis, then Jason Bay and Henry Blanco. Davis got a soap bubble 2 in a row and hit the second one for a home run. This time it's a fly ball. Carroll started to go back, now comes in to make the catch. So Davis a fly ball, 1 away. Matt Kemp and Jamie Carroll exchanging a little advice out there as Davis goes back to the dugout. And the batter will be Jason Bay, who deserves a round of applause for that sensational catch, racing full tilt into the Dodger bullpen gate. Hitting .259. And he hits one of those off-speed breaking balls, and Kemp goes back to make it. I will say one thing, the Mets have handled that soap bubble curveball better than most teams, as Bay sends Kemp to the warning track. 2 down, and Henry Blanco coming up. Henry an infield single in the second inning. 13 years big league career and still playing and doing very well. There's that soap bubble, but he misses. That one 54 miles an hour. It's been very effective, except for the home run tonight. 1 ball and no strikes, followed by a fastball that's popped up. DeWitt. So that is 8 in a row retired by Padilla, and at the end 3.5, 2-0 Mets. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Toyota. Get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealer today. By K-Swiss and by Jack Daniels. Mets 2 and the Dodgers nothing as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Matt Kemp, Casey Blake, and James Loney against their great left-hander Johan Santana. You know, when you think about that green valley in Venezuela. It was far off the beaten track. You wonder how he ever made it to the big leagues. Strike to Kemp. He was 15 and started to have recognition and a reputation, and an Astro scout heard about him. They wanted him to go to the academy. Slicing drive to right, a diving catch by Angel Pagan. So as we said last night, the Mets have an angel in the outfield, and he's a dandy with that glove. So two outstanding plays by the corner outfielders, Jason Bay especially, and that one gets a round of applause from Santana. One away. The batter now, Casey Blake. And a strike. Anyway, the Astro scout had heard about Santana, but it was 1994, and they wanted Santana to go to their academy. But to take him from where he lived in the valley in northern Venezuela to the academy cost money, and there wasn't very much money with the labor shut down in the major leagues. Slicing down the line, it's gonna go into the glove of Pagan. Holy mackerel, we've had three sensational outfield plays. Whoa, Castillo out there to congratulate Pagan. Gee whiz, Jason Bay in left and two for Pagan. Of course, what happens too when you have a pitcher throwing strikes, you get some great plays back of you, and that certainly goes right along Jason Bay. So the first couple of innings is a highlight reel for the Mets, and the batter will be James Loney. Anyway, to get back to Santana, the scout called Bob Watson, who was the general manager of the Astros. Hopper to the right side, that'll be that. They didn't have the money, and Watson said, well, if you think is that good, I'll pay for the trip to the academy. And that's the story of Santana. It's 2-0 Mets. On that soap bubble. The first time was Jay Bruce in Cincinnati, right down the right field line. And then the second time was Ike Davis leading off here in the second inning, hitting one into the seats in center field. So Padilla ready to go to work against Johan Santana. Brilliant outfield play by Angel Pagan and Jason Bay. Ball one to Santana. reached on a fielder's choice when he bunted, and Bay was nailed at third. Fly ball to left field. Carroll was shallow, so he has to go back a bit. 1 away. You know, we're introducing the ultimate summer sports value, the Prime Ticket Summer 4-pack. It's a 4-game plan, offers 50% savings off the box office price, includes a beach towel giveaway and a fireworks show. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/mini plans or give us a call, 866-DODGERS. Here's Reyes, doubled and was robbed of an extra base hit and maybe 2 RBIs when James Loney took an extra base hit away from him, smothering his bid right by the bag at first. Reyes hitting .278, 6 home runs, 34 runs batted in. 1-1. Line to left. Jamie coming up for it. Padilla is really on a roll now. He's retired 11 in a row. Castillo singled, was going to be out stealing second in the first inning, and DeWitt dropped the throw. Actually, he dropped the tag. And then last time up, Castillo was out on a bang play at first, which cost the Mets their manager. Jerry Manuel kicked out for arguing. 0-1 the count to Luis Castillo. 1-1. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Mets. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. That would be a single by Casey Blake. Comebacker. That'll be that. And at the end of 4.5 innings, the Mets 2 and the Dodgers nothing. It'll be Russell Martin, Blake DeWitt, and Jamie Carroll. Santana has retired 10 in a row. Padilla has retired 12 in a row, so they're really locked in. And that's a strike to Russell Martin. Martin popped up to Castilla in the second inning. 0-1. Line drive down the left field line, in there. Over to get it, Jason Bay, and Martin's going for 2. The throw in, he is in there. So Russell Martin legs 1 for 2. as he pulls one not quite down the line, but it was in that area. Bay came over to backhand it. Good accurate throw, and Martin just did get in and, more importantly, stayed on the bag. So that breaks the string. Santana is really throwing strikes. So he's right on the plate. So the hitters are now up there looking for the first or even the second pitch. That's a strike. In the first inning, Santana walked a batter and actually missed the strike zone 9 times. Since then, he's only missed 4 times in the next 3 innings. Foul back, 0-2. So DeWitt up there, 0-2 the count. Jamie Carroll on deck, 2-0 Mets. Bottom of the 5th inning. Martin with Reyes behind him, trying to take a step away from him. High chopper, tough play. Santana all in one move made it look easy. On the play, Martin advances to third. There have been 3 brilliant catches tonight. Jason Bay risking body and limb, crashing into the bullpen gate. Somehow held on to the ball. Angel Pagan made a sliding catch and then came up with another dandy as he went into the padding. So 3 brilliant plays certainly have been the Hyundai keys to the game so far. Bay and Pagan helping the Mets to their 2-0 lead. Runner at third, 1 out. The corners are up. 0-1 to Jamie. So David Wright even with the bag. So is Ike Davis. Angel Pagan shallow in right field. Beltran shading and shallow in right center. Foul back, 0-2. Carroll was the one who hit that ball in the second inning when Jason Bay crashed into the Dodger bullpen gate. Oh, 0-2 to Jamie. Santana has 1 wild pitch. 0-1. Santana won the Cy Young Award in 04 and again in 06. First Venezuelan pitcher ever to record 20 wins. A little flare to right. Pagan circles, makes the catch. Martin tags. Here's the throw. It's a dandy. And it is dropped by Blanco. The throw by Angel Pagan had Martin beaten. But in the collision, Henry Blanco unable to hold on to the ball. That was a perfect throw. Dropped, juggled, and he never could hold on to it. So a perfect throw, and Blanco never could get the handle. So it is 2-1 in favor of the Mets. That looked like a great throw for a catcher to handle. David Wright over to say something. A wonderful throw by Pagan. It looked like it hopped just about the right direction from the catcher, but he just never had it. So it's 2-1 New York. Ground ball to short. Reyes. And that's that. However, the Dodgers get a run, and at the end of 5, the Mets 2 and the Dodgers 1. Today, Jackie Robinson entered the Hall of Fame, the first black player to get that honor, but of course, Jack was also the first black player to play in the major leagues. He had .311 for his career, played a little less than 1,400 games. He was Rookie of the Year, and in 1949, he was also the most valuable player. It was a great award for Jackie. It was a great awakening for Major League Baseball, and it was a moment that the country was thrilled about. And long shall he live in the history of the Dodgers, whether it's Brooklyn or Los Angeles. Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, the pride of UCLA and the United States of America. Let's go back to this one. That's a strike. 0-1 the count. Pagan has struck out, fly to left. Interesting, too, how close this game is. The Dodgers scored a run when the catcher, Henry Blanco, unable to handle a good throw from Angel Pagan. The Mets scored a run when Blake DeWitt dropped a tag that he had Castillo dead to rights in the first inning. So that balances things out. Ike Davis hit a home run in the second inning, but the Mets still feel, I'm sure, they lost a couple more on a close play that went the Dodgers' way at first base in the second inning. And Jerry Manuel was kicked out of the game. Pagan, meanwhile, goes 0 for 3, strikes out a second time. And we have one away in the sixth inning. Good moving fastball. It just seemed to drift back in over the plate. Padilla has made only 63 pitches. Santana has made 62. And now David Wright, who has struck out twice. And first ball swinging, a high foul. Loney leans in, made the catch. So 14 in a row now retired by Padilla as the fans suddenly back away, and Loney had to fight one of them for the ball and made the play. Boy, it's jump ball over there. That's a strike. Carlos Beltran struck out, flied to left. 0 for 2. You know how good the pitching is tonight? Padilla and Santana have thrown first pitch strikes to 33 of the 40 hitters. 33 out of 40 first pitch strikes. It's 2-1 Mets. Line drive, speared by Loney. Boy, the boys have brought their gloves tonight for each team. Brilliant defensive plays, and at the end of 5.5 innings, Mets 2, Dodgers 1. dedication to catch the ball no matter what. Really hit that gate, hurt his back, and went down in a heap. However, he got up and he's back out there in left field. 2-1 Mets. Bottom of the sixth, Rafael Furcal fouled away. Santana in the last 4 innings has made 5 pitches out of the strike zone. He's had first pitch strike to the last 12 hitters. 0-1. And another strike, 0-2. Santana walked 1. That was Matt Kemp back in the first inning. Oh and 2. 1-2. Vicente Padilla in the last 4 innings has made a total of 29 pitches in the last 4 innings. Going back over those innings, Padilla made 7 pitches in the third, 6 in the fourth, 8 in the fifth, and only 8 in the sixth. 2-2. And it looked like a change hit in the air, and Jason Bay. 1 away. Time now for our trivia question. Which player on the 1955 Dodgers managed the Mets to the 1969 World Series title? Well, we'll give you the answer in a while. Andre Ethier grounded to Santana and grounded to second. Andre 0 for 2. A rare first pitch that misses, ball 1. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Mets. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Fouled right off the railing in front of the Dodger dugout. That almost got Jamie Carroll. Clayton Kershaw talking to Brad Osmus, but it was Carroll who had to bail on that ball. 1-1. And a little pop fly. They need help. And it's another sliding, rolling catch. This one by Carlos Beltran. And he's playing on a bad knee, remember. So they're all anxious about, are you okay? I think he has a brace on that right knee. Little late start. And he makes the catch anyway. They were saying earlier that Beltran was having a little trouble. Remember, he's been out all year in reading the ball coming off the bat. And he did not get a jump on that, but he was still able to make the catch. So 4 brilliant plays in the outfield for the Mets. There's a change for a strike to Kemp. Matt walked, got as far as third, flied to right. That's a strike. Boy, you walk up there tonight and it's no balls, 2 strikes, no matter who you are. Santana has struck out 4. Slider down and in, still 0-2. 2-1 New York. They scored a run in the first. They got a run in the second. The Dodgers scrambled for 1 in the fifth. The drops, if you remove them, it would be 1-0 Mets on the home run by Ike Davis. And sliced into right field. Base hit. So Matt, a 2-out single to right, representing the tying run. And Casey Blake coming up. Matt Kemp, 15 stolen bases. He's been caught 11 times. So Santana will be watching him for sure. We told you the Padres won, the Rockies lost. The Giants are leading the D-backs 3-1. Aubrey Huff has 2 home runs behind Jonathan Sanchez. Edwin Jackson pitching for Arizona. Fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. Casey hitting .253. Base hit in the first inning. That sent Kemp to third, but then Loney struck out. A lot of stories about Santana. One you might really like was about the fire engine. 1 ball and no strikes to Casey Blake. That's a strike. In the little town of Tovar Merida in Venezuela, they did not have a fire engine. And he was with Minnesota, and he asked the Twins to help him to buy a fire truck. 1-1 to count. Foul ball. So the team scoured around and found the Coon Rapids Fire Department, and Santana bought a fire truck for $38,000. The fire truck is engine 57, and it's in his hometown and will be used, and I'm sure has been used a few times when there's been a fire. 1-2. One hopper, a great stop by Reyes, but his throw is too late. Boy, is this ever a marvelous defensive game. Reyes catching up to a base hit, but so fully extended he couldn't gather himself in time to get the ball to Castillo, who couldn't hold on to it anyway. So that'll be an infield single. And if Beltran doesn't catch the pop fly by Epier, the Dodgers have tied up the game. So many wonderful plays. And with 2 out, James Loney. Loney came up with runners at first and third, 2 out in the first inning, and struck out looking on a 3-2 pitch. Last time up, grounded out. He had really been Mr. Steady in June and July in this kind of a situation. 2-1 Mets. Strike. 0-1. 2 runs, 5 hits for New York. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. (0-1). Check swing. They're going to look at third. No swing, says Kerwin Danley. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Fastball just missed. 2-1. High fly ball, really shallow right, and Castillo will make the play. Angel Pagan jogging in behind him. So no runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Good play by Carlos Beltran. Keeps it 2-1 New York. Old story, fool me once, and the second time you pay for it. There's the soap bubble for a strike. A big grin for Davis, and then he got another one, and he probably hit a home run. 14 home runs, 46 runs batted in, and a .252 batting average. Mets 2 runs, 5 hits, and the Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits. Slicing fly ball down the line, and it'll go foul out of play, 0-1. One thing in watching Ike Davis, you could see where a change-up, a slow curveball, he can really catch up to it, but he does drop his hands. Now he has 14 home runs, he's hitting .250, and he's playing in the big leagues, so he's doing fine. But when you see that hitch, dropping those hands like that, you wonder just how often he can catch up to a major league fastball. There go the hands. 1-1. Leading all rookies with the 14 home runs. Ike, the son of Ron Davis, a major league pitcher for 11 years. And a strike. That's another fastball. 1-2 the count. So I think to give him that soap bubble curveball not only once but twice, I don't think Padilla will do that again. And a big breaking ball in the dirt, the curveball, and that'll take care of Davis. 1 away. Remember the trivia question? Who was a member of the championship 1955 Dodger team who managed the Mets to the title in 1969? One of the great ones. One of the finest men you'd ever meet. Gil Hodges. He not only had 5 RBIs in the 1955 World Series, he had 2 in Game 7, the only 2 runs scored in that game, when Johnny Padres won 2-0. Fly ball down the line, Ethier. The last member of the Mets to get aboard was Santana when he tried to sacrifice and bunted into a force play. But they're still leading 2-1. You know, the Dodgers back in 1951 had a 13-game lead in the month of August, and they lost the pennant to the New York Giants. That was the famous Bobby Thompson home run. Well, the New York Mets in 1969 were 9.5 games back on August 15. They won 39 of the final 48 to overtake the Cubs, win the pennant, and then beat Baltimore in the World Series. 1969, the impossible dream. Skippered by Gil Hodges. 0-2 to Henry. Bouncer up the middle. So Blanco comes up with his second hit. 2 for 3 against his old club, and that'll bring up Santana. Two-1 Mets in the 7th. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom half, it'll be Martin, DeWitt, and Carroll. Ball 1. Santana bunted into the force play and flied to center. Have to be a little careful with him. He does have a home run. And a fly ball to right. Ethier is there. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 6.5, The Mets 2, the Dodgers 1. And now we'll have God Bless America, followed by Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls, would you please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America. Once again, please welcome Ralph Moriello.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Now, fans, it's time for the California Lottery 7th-inning stretch. Be sure to play.
The 7th inning, Mets 2, Dodgers 1, and it'll be Russell Martin, Blake DeWitt, and Jamie Carroll against Johan Santana. Fastball, a rare miss, ball 1. It has been such a magnificent night. Ball 2. For instance, Padilla had retired 17 in a row until Blanco got the single. He's only made 77 pitches in 7 innings. And now Santana, who walked 1, that was Kemp back in the 1st inning, has fallen behind for the first time tonight, 3-0 to a hitter. And a strike. Come on back, Russ. Three and 1 the count. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jeff Weaver begins to loosen up. Padilla is due to bat 4th in this inning. Boy, Vicente has just pitched a gem, and so has Santana. Fastball. Here comes Beltran. Boy, did the bottom drop out of that thing, and he was still able to make the catch. Ball looks like it's going to hang in the air. Beltran comes over and then look out, and he picked it off. They just don't miss him out there, do they? Had 5 good Mets outfield plays. DeWitt fouling that away. Jamie Carroll on deck. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Mets. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. The third great pitching duel. Previous 2, 2-0, 2-0, and tonight 2-1. High inside fastball. 0-2. DeWitt struck out on a similar pitch in the second inning. Hit back to the box in the 5th. Still 0-2. It showed you when DeWitt hit that hopper way to the left of the mound and Santana grabbed it, whirled, fired a strike to first. You could see why he has Gold Glove. 1-2. And another foul ball. One thing, you watch Santana, and he has been richly rewarded for all of his abilities. He has a contract that will go through, I believe it's 2014. And that contract adds up to about $150 million. And a fly ball to right, 2 away. Say, a reminder, be sure to bring your kids to Dodger Stadium, and with a purchase of every adult ticket on the field or Lowe's level, kids 14 and under, just $5. For details, visit Dodgers.com/specials. Boy, what a dream for $5 to sit in one of those seats. Playing the Mets last night made me think about growing up in New York and paying 55 cents to sit in the bleachers. We used to save up soda pop bottles, get 5 cents deposit when you return the bottle, and if you got the 55 cents, you sat in the bleachers. Well, that 55 cents is probably close to being worth $5 now. That's going to drop for a base hit. But for the $5 that the kids spend today, the best seat in the house. Hope you'll take advantage of it. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are hurting, and Ronnie Belliard will come up and bat for Vicente Padilla. Padilla lost a run in the first inning when Blake DeWitt dropped the tag. The scales might have balanced out when Henry Blanco was unable to handle a throw by Angel Pagan. So really the difference in the game is the home run by Ike Davis. So here's Belliard batting for Padilla. Change way out in front of it. Boy, that is a dandy pitch. 0-1 to Belliard. Hitting .216. He has 5 hits coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. And he's in a hole like most of the hitters tonight. Before you know it, it's a no ball 2 strike count. 2 change-ups in a row, too. Oh, 2. And a little ground ball to Reyes. So the Dodgers leave Carroll on that pop fly single. Vicente Padilla is done for the night. Tremendous effort, but the Mets still lead the Dodgers 2-1. We're talking about how closely they've cut this game. There was a drop throw at second base. That helped give the Mets a run. Then the Dodgers picked up a run when Blanco couldn't handle a throw to the plate. But there was one other huge play in the second inning. Castillo's ground ball, backhanded by Furcal, and so close. But look, the foot is on the bag. The ball is not in Loney's glove. Jerry Manuel came out to argue. He lost the argument. He was kicked out of the game. The Mets also lost at least one run on that play. So that was a major Hyundai key to the game. The play that went the Dodgers' way involving Luis Castillo. So we've reached the eighth. It is 2-1 Mets. And Jeff Weaver will pick up for Vicente Padilla. Padilla at one stretch retired 17 in a row. Reyes doubled, grounded out hard, and flied to left. Ball one. With a great play by Loney, a diving stop of what would have been a double to score at least one, maybe two. The newest Dodger, Jack Tashner, let's put it this way, one of the two newest Dodgers. And Tashner, the left-hander, begins to loosen up in the Dodger bullpen. Dodgers have another new pitcher, Kenley Jansen, who just came up. Two balls and no strikes, they count to Reyes, hitting .277. In there, 2-1. Reyes with a half a dozen home runs, 34 runs batted in. Captured a headline. His first major league home run was a grand slam. Fouled away. The Dodger pitching has been magnificent. Look at Billingsley, then Kuroda, and then Padilla. One earned run. Amazing. So Billingsley, who started it, then Kuroda and Padilla. 3-2 the count to Jose Reyes. And he walked him, and of course that will put a lot of pressure on Weaver, because Reyes is certainly a very accomplished base stealer. This year Reyes has stolen 19 out of 22, but when you look back, he has stolen 60, 64, 78, and 56. So he can fly. And now you have the contact hitter Castillo, a bunt single, 0 for 2, one of them that disputed play at first base. He shows bunt, and it's ball one. In one-run games this year, the Mets are 11-18. They've lost 12 games on the road by one run. The Dodgers are 16-12, and they've won 11 of 15 at home. There goes Reyes, and the pitch fouled away, and I think Jose had the base stolen, and now he's going to be sent back. Castillo didn't see him going, although maybe he did, and he's annoyed at himself. He's walking around. Castillo is still not ready to get back into the box, and Reyes is not quite back to first. He had that thing in the bag, number 20. And at the last minute, Castillo flicked at the ball and fouled it off. Close play. 1-1. Castillo followed by Pagan and Wright. Off the plate. 2-1. Jack Tashner now has some company. Right-hander James McDonald, J-Mac as they call him, down in the pen. Two and one to Luis Castillo, hitting .240. Whoa, is that close? Reyes almost picked off. Razor Shines coaching at first. Chip Hale over at third. Two and one. There he goes. Pitch off the plate. Throw too late. So Reyes steals his 20th. Good strong throw by Martin, but Reyes just got enough of a jump to steal his 20th. So a runner at second, nobody out, and Castillo so handy with the bunt on a 3-1 count. Let's see if they put it on to get his man over to third. He has 7 sacrifices and several bunt singles. The bunt is down and foul. On that play, it's the shortstop telling the pitcher when to actually go to the plate. Rafael directly behind Reyes, and then he will gesture to Weaver about throwing to the plate. Three and two the count now on Castillo. Rafael alerting Blake DeWitt. Now he's saying pitch. And his ball forward. So Weaver has walked 2 here in the 8th inning. First and second, nobody out. Angel Pagan has distinguished himself with the glove. He's been very quiet with the bat. He was 0 for 4 last night. He is 0 for 3 tonight. So he is 0 for 7, and he has struck out 3 of the 7 at-bats. As far as possibly having a hitter like Pagan sacrifice, and remember he's hitting in the 3rd slot, he does have 2 sacrifices, but both of them batting right-handed. So the Dodgers still looking for the bunt. Loney and Davis. Casey Blake up in on the grass. A throw by Martin, close. Oh, he almost nailed him. Great throw by Martin. Oh, was that close. Look at where Reyes is. The throw is there, and the swipe was a little late. The hand is now on the bag, and the swipe never got him. Boy, what a wonderful throw by Martin. He really took dead aim, and a perfect throw. So Reyes, with his stolen bases, he has 20, but he lives dangerously out there. But it's the old story. Only the good base runners are ever picked off. The bad ones never get off a bag. And a strike. Vicente Padilla in his 7 innings allowed 2 runs and 5 hits. Did not walk anyone. Then Jeff Weaver has faced 2 batters, and Jeff has walked both of them. 1-1. And ball 2. 2-1 the count. We've mentioned a couple of things about the Mets overall. They avoid the double play. They're pretty good with the bunt. However, they also have a lot of base runners tagged out on the bases. They're first in that unenviable department. The bunt is down. The play has to be to first. So Pagan moves his men along to second and third. And with one out, David Wright and the switch hitting Carlos Beltran. So for Joe Torre, with first base open, David Wright has struck out twice and fouled out. Joe wants to check the pen. What he's probably thinking about is first base open, walking right, then perhaps bringing in the left-hander Tashner to turn Beltran around to bat right-handed. We'll see if that comes out. The one thing we do know, Weaver comes out with second and third and one out, and they go to J-Mac. So Beltran will hit left-handed. We'll be back. Is dropped by DeWitt and the run scores. In the second inning, Jason Bay got the second soap bubble and hit it out. And then there was one more drop. A great catch and throw by Angel Pagan right on the money to home plate. And Henry Blanco couldn't find the handle, and Martin scored. But now the Mets have runners at second and third, first base open, and David Wright with Beltran on deck. Wright has struck out twice and fouled out, and McDonald 0-1 with a high ERA of 7, but in the bullpen and called upon at a pivotal moment in the game. So you have Reyes at third, Castillo at second with one out. The infield is up, and here's David Wright. Wright has 67 runs batted in. That's a strike. 15 home runs. But he is also a strikeout player. He has struck out 108 times. 0-1. And he probably bangs it to Kemp. Tagging up is Reyes to score. Holding at second is Castilla, and the Mets lead 3-1. So David Wright delivers. Scoring fly ball to center.
Number 15.
Reyes brings it in. The run is charged to Weaver. Now the batter is Carlos Beltran, and they will walk him intentionally. So they took their chances trying to get David Wright with first base open. Can't do that, so now they try to stay away from Beltran. Hitting back of Beltran is Davis. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Mets, 1 run, 5 hits for the Dodgers. In a moment, 2 on, 2 out. So Beltran and Castillo are out there. Now here comes Joe with the left-hand hitting Ike Davis coming up. Here's Jack Cashner down in the bullpen. And we'll be calling him in. So as Cashner makes his debut as a Dodger, we'll be back. A Wisconsin boy born in Milwaukee, lives in Racine, and went to the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. As far as his major league career, he came up with the Giants in 05. He was with them into 08, went to the Phillies in 09, then went down and finally came up this year earlier with the Pirates. He was released by the Pirates and picked up by the Dodgers. So he's a veteran left-hander, and he'll be facing the rookie left-hand batter, Ike Davis, with 2 on, 2 out, 1 in, and the Mets leading the Dodgers 3-1. Beltran is at first. Over at second is Castillo, and Ike Davis homered, fly to left, struck out. The home run, that soap bubble curveball of Vicente Padilla in the second inning. He got 2 in a row. Looked at the first one and hit the second one out, bursting Padilla's bubble. Fastball for a strike. Fastball has been clocked as high as 94. He also has a slider and a changeup. He had a curveball, but he tore scar tissue in his elbow using it. 0-1 the count. Slider has been very effective against left-hand batters. 0-1. Just missed with the fastball at 90. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jack Basley, a reliever. Two years ago, he won 3 games for the Giants in relief. 1-1 to Ike Davis. Another fastball. So 3 in a row and a 1-2 count. Dodgers in the bottom half will have Furcal, Ethier, and Kemp. One ball and 2 strikes to Ike Davis. And there's the slider, and it gets away, and the runners move up. So the first slider that he has thrown down and away, and it got on by Martin. So that moves everybody up. We'll wait on the scoring, but it did go in the dirt, and it'll be a wild pitch. So first base open. You have a right-hand hitter, Jason Bay, on deck. So the deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, and the Mets lead by 2. Missed again, and that time the slider was just off the plate. So he gave him a couple of good fastballs, now a couple of sliders, and he's gone all the way. 3-2. What'll he do? And a slider for ball 4. So the Mets have had 4 walks and a scoring fly ball. The bases are loaded. Jason Bay coming up.
Jason Bay.
They're on the phone to the bullpen. Travis Schlichting is warming up, and here comes Joe. So that'll do it for the left-hander Tashner, and they'll go to the right-hander Schlichting to go after Jason Bay. So it is 3-1 in favor of the Mets. They have the bases loaded with 2 out, and we'll be back. Go to the plate, and we have not had an official at bat. Tomorrow afternoon it'll be Mike Pelfrey and Carlos Monasterios. That'll be on the Fox network. Then we'll be back Sunday on Prime Ticket with Dickey and Kershaw. Actually, the R in R.A. Dickey stands for Robert, but he likes R.A. Travis Schlichting will be the 5th Dodger pitcher in an inning that has seen Reyes and Castillo walk, Pagan sacrifice, Wright a scoring fly ball, Beltran walk, and Davis walk. So here is Bay, 1-4-3, and he probably hits it in the gap in right center, and that's about lights out. Not only will Castillo score, Beltran will score, and so will Davis. And it is 6-1 in favor of the Mets as Jason Bay cleans house with a double to right center.
Number 4, catcher Henry Blanco.
So Reyes and Castillo, those runs are charged to Weaver. McDonald walked Beltran and walked Davis. So he's charged with 2. And Bay is now there at second. And the batter is Henry Blanco, a strike. So after Padilla won a brilliant 7, the bullpen, Weaver gives up 2, McDonald gives up 1, Tashner gives up 1. Hard ground ball to short, kicked by Furcal, everybody's safe. And it's going to be a 9-man inning as Rafael Furcal stuck a finger in that ground ball. Ball hit hard, and it just kind of ate him up, and he lost sight of it. So it'll be an error. Chris Carter is now going to come up and bat for Santana. Chris Carter played left field last night, went 1 for 3. So the Mets had gone 17 consecutive scoreless innings, and they scored in the first inning. They've lost 7 games on their road trip, being shut out 3 times in the 7. They're trying to snap a 4-game losing streak, and they've also lost 7 out of 8. And it will really hurt the Dodgers because they are now in danger of falling back to 6 games behind San Diego. 0-1 to Carter. And a fly ball to left field. Jamie Carroll is there. That's their 3rd out. It is the 9th man to come to the plate. 4 come home. And we're heading to the bottom of the 8th. 6-1 Mets. Six to 1 in favor of the Mets. Johan Santana pitched a strong 7, allowed just 1 run, walked 1, struck out 4, allowed 5 hits. On his way to perhaps his 8th win, unless the Dodgers can do something against Bobby Parnell. He's out of Salisbury, North Carolina. Ball one. Jeff Francoeur is now in right field. Pagan moves over to left. So Jason Bay comes out along with Santana. Fly ball to dead center. Beltran going back. Picks it off. So for call, a long out, and he goes 0 for 4. Santana, by the way, made 98 pitches in his 7 innings. And of the 98 pitches, 74 were strikes. One reason why, he got some superlative defensive play by Jason Bay, Carlos Beltran, and Angel Pagan. So one away, and here's Ethier. 0 for 3 against Santana. Fastball in for a strike. Parnell, big enough, 6'4", 200. Last year he had 16 holds. Ethier batting .303. 1 ball and 1 strike. Parnell broke in 5 years ago, pitching in Brooklyn in the New York Penn League. Fouled away. Came up to the Mets in 08, 09, and now here he is. For 4 years in high school, he was the goalie on the soccer team. He was a free safety on the football team. He's quite an athlete. 1 and 2. Fastball, 2 and 2. He was selected in the 9th round of the 2005 draft by the Mets. Bobby Parnell. 2 and 2 the count. Fastball got him. He didn't monkey around. He just had Ethier hard stuff and blows him away. So 2 out in the 8th inning, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. Parnell with a couple of very good fastballs. You can understand his earned run average is 1.2. He has 18 strikeouts and only 4 walks. Matt Kemp walked, flied to right, single to right. Hitting .265. Ball 1. So the Dodgers down 6-1 here in the 8th inning. Tough game. Mets led 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. It stayed that way until the Mets scored 4 times in the 8th inning on 1 hit. 2-0. 1 hit, 4 walks, a wild pitch, a stolen base, a sacrifice, and then an error for good measure. Big bouncer up the middle. Castillo set for the throw. Nice scoop at the other end by Ike Davis. So the Dodgers go very quietly in the 8th inning, and at the end of 8, Mets 6, Dodgers 1. of the game. The fact that when Jose Reyes scores a run, the Mets winning percentage is .691. Well, he scored in the first inning, lifting a fly ball to Ethier this time. One out in the ninth. Reyes has scored twice, so that was a good sign for New York.
Second baseman, Luis Castillo.
Mets have had a lot of trouble here at Dodger Stadium since 2007. They've lost 10 of 14. But they're trying to make up for it tonight. Here's Castillo, bunt single, grounded out twice and walked, scored one. Strike. Mets broke the game open with 4 in the 8th on 1 hit. Fastball hit to DeWitt. 2 out in the 9th inning, and the batter will be Angel Pagan. Pagan talking to David Wright before coming up. Angel has struck out, flied to left, struck out again, then got a good bunt down in the 8th inning. Started in right, made 2 fine catches, one sliding towards the infield, one sliding across the foul line. Though a career high 89th game for Angel. And ball 1. Angel has had a good 2 games with the glove, nothing with the bat. 0 for 7, but he did get the bunt down when they needed it in the 8th inning. Fouled away, 1-1. Down in the bullpen, the closer for the Mets, Francisco Rodriguez. Frankie getting ready. One and 1. Ball 2, 2-1. Two out, top of the 9th. 6-1 Mets. Ground ball to the hole and through on a ball away, and Pagan just went with it and poked it into left field. So his first hit in the series. He goes 1 for 8 in the 2 games. And here's David Wright. Wright 1 for 3 yesterday, struck out twice and walked. Tonight 0 for 3, struck out twice, but had a scoring fly ball in the 8th inning. Knocked in a big run against James McDonald. Right. Pagan over at first base is outstanding in stealing bases. He's stolen 20 out of 26. And there he goes. The pitch fouled at the plate, and it took a bite out of the plate umpire, C.B. Buckner. Got him on the hand. Right hand. One thing CB does is he has both hands on his knee, and that's dangerous, and sure enough, that foul ball got him. CB, as we mentioned earlier, born in Jamaica, came to the U.S. in 1973, got a Bachelor of Science degree in recreation therapy, and here he is in the big leagues. He does a very nice thing. He refurbishes and restores homes for senior citizens in Jamaica. There he goes again. The pitch is strike 3 call. So a wasted effort for Pagan. For David Wright, he strikes out 3 times tonight and 5 times in the 2 games. But the Mets lead 6-1. To try and get the last 3 outs. Frankie set a major league record with the Angels back in 2008. He had 62 saves that year. He has 21 saves so far this year. But we mentioned it last night that the day in, day out toll is reflected in the opposition batting average, both against Broxton and Rodriguez. For Rodriguez, the opposition in April hit 167 against him. That's a strike. In May, 189. In June, 279. And in July, 357. He's had 2 blown saves in July. He's never had 3 in 1 month in his career. That's in there. Though he asserts himself immediately. 0-2. Rodriguez is from Caracas in Venezuela. So you had Johan Santana from Venezuela. Henry Blanco, the catcher, is from Venezuela, as is Rodriguez. He now lives out on the island in New York, Manhasset. Big breaking ball, 1-2 the count. Casey Blake tonight, single to left, fly to right, single to short, 2 for 3. Blake batting .256. And a breaking ball takes care of him. That was a dandy. So 1 away. 1 minute it's up there. Next minute it's down there. For Rodriguez, among other things, 19 walks, 57. So 3-1, 57 strikeouts. 1 down in the 9th, and here's James Loney. Loney is struck out, grounded out, and popped up. Tough night for James with men on base. That's a strike. Loney struck out with runners at first and third in the first inning, popped up with runners at first and second in the 6th. And in the middle, in the 4th inning, grounded out with the bases empty. 0-1. 0-2. And again, a lot of motion. He really comes after you coming off the mound. He's an even 6, 195. 28 years old. 0-2. Got it. No doubt about it. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Loney looking for something else. So Rodriguez comes in, strikes out the first two, and it'll be Russell Martin with his foot in the door. For the Dodgers, faced with the glum reality of falling back to 6 games behind San Diego. The Padres won, and by the way, the Giants won. Martin, a ground ball to Reyes. That ought to do it. It does. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Mets. For the Dodgers, who won 2 in a row, scoring 2. Tonight, 1 is not enough. For Rodriguez, he made 8 pitches to retire the side in order. 6-8-0 for New York, 1-5-2 for the Dodgers. Santana, the winner, he's 8-5. He is 4-0 against the Dodgers. Vicente Padilla, a tough loss. He is 4-3. He is 10-4 lifetime against New York. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good night, everybody.